How are we doing, folks? So took the bike out yesterday for a run to one of our local shows where they had a classic car and bike area. So I had a lovely day, and the bike ran really well, started easy, but on the way back I pulled in for a pint, as you do, and I really struggled to start the bike. And you know, everything I know is spot on. The carburation, I changed the pilot jet to a 3-band, a little bit more richer. I think I've got a 220 main in it. It runs lovely, pulls really well, but struggled to start. And what it was, or what it is, if I bring this to compression stroke now and jump down on compression stroke, it slips through the clutch. So even though the clutch is working fine, I mean, it's the first time I give it a good oiling yesterday, and you know, she'll pull your arms out, the clutch doesn't slip under load, but yeah, on starting, so that's the issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to whiz the cover off and see how much I can get on it. I mean, it is fairly light, I suppose. See how much tension I can get on the springs without it becoming too difficult to pull. So let me get it over. I'm going to light on its side as far as I can. Obviously the holes in this clutch casing go through into the main crankcase, so I should be able to drain the oil into the main casing and take this outer cover off without having to drain it, and then we'll take it from there. So I'll see you in a short while. So, can you lie the bike down on its side? No problem. Did any oil come out of anywhere? No. I checked the breather at the top. I don't know what it would be like if you leaned it in the other direction, because obviously the breather at the top of the oil tank's on this side. It might be fine, I've never tried it. We can lie it down this way, no problem. Turn the fuel off. I have a lithium iron phosphate, a LiFePO4 battery, so that can work upside down or whatever, no problem. So as you lean it back, whenever oil, because it has holes drilled in the casing, so the crankcase oil leaks into here, and that's what lubricates the chain, etc. So when you lean it back, whatever oil is in here will run back into the centre of the crankcase. And I did suck out a little bit with a syringe, just so I didn't want any running over the edge while I was messing. And I've also adjusted the clutch while I was at it. The clutch, adjusted the primary chain. In fact, I've actually slackened it off a little bit. I was a little bit overzealous when I built the bike up, and was a little bit tight, so I'll give it a little bit there. The clutch, okay, I did actually whiz all the plates out. Everything's fine in there, and what I've done is I've wound them in another 1.5 turns, and what I used was a vernier to get the height right. So if you use the depth, I can't do it now because I put the wire across, but you can use the depth section of the vernier to go down on the top of the stud and the top of the adjusting screw. So I've got them all, they're all 7mm. So regarding the pull, again, no problem whatsoever, and it does lift off evenly, nice and square as it lifts off, so I'm sure that's going to be fine. So all you have to do to lean the bike over, if you've got a lead acid battery, take that off, switch the fuel off. You might get a bit of fuel running out the float bowl if there's fuel in the carb, but disconnect the brake rod, slacken off the foot peg bolt and just lift it up and turn it out of the way. Casing off and you're in. And I'm hoping now, I'm going to build it back up now, and I should be able to jump up and down on compression stroke, obviously with the decompressor not pulled, and it should be solid and not slip. but it wasn't slipping when I was driving the bike, it was only on attempt at start up. So I'm going to nail it up and we'll give it a go to start the bike when we're done. So see you shortly. Okay, we're done. Nothing simple. When I was putting it back, or when I was using it the other day, I had a bit of a rattle on overrun and I was just checking a few things over, and what it was is the height of the chain guard on overrun when the chain goes slack at the top. Well, the chain was a bit slack as well, so I just did the drive chain. You can see marks where it had been touching the top of this, so I've raised this up by 20 mil, but obviously then I had to scallop out the mud guard also for the suspension travel by 20 mil, so nothing simple. So I have just stood, just put some boots on, I have just stood on the kickstart, and you can jump up and down on it on compression and it doesn't slip down. So I'm just now gonna, let's see, it should normally goes within the second or third kick, so let's have a look. So fuel on, hold the bike up level so the carb float level's level, tickle until I see some fuel coming out. Yep. Ignition on. Fold the footrest up. Okay. Find compression. Decompressor in. About half a kick. Hardly any throttle. Oh, fired first time then. Compression down. Definitely live with that. So, hard thing to notice, but if the clutch is slipping even a little bit, then you just can't get that extra bit of speed or put the energy into the flywheels to get the speed, you know, for the compression, just to give it that first fire, because you only get the ratio with the kickstart, like one travel of the kickstart only brings it over top dead centre like once, so you've got to get it, everything's got to be right, but I'm very happy with that. So I might just go out for another test blast because I can.